Today I will do a walkthrough of how to build a Power BI report from scratch. This is intended to be very simple, and if you want the detailed one, you will have to look up for a detailed course on Power BI. And I assume that you already have some basic understanding of data modeling. Here we go. Firstly, you download the dataset, and this is the Kaggle website. So you just download. Here is an example of Amazing Mart. And you also need to have Microsoft Power BI Desktop to be installed. You can use the desktop version, and currently the version is 2.154. I believe it is April or May 2026 released. Yeah, so just download, and after which you can open Power BI. When you launch Power BI, click on Blank Report, and here you will see the first layout of how the canvas is structured. For beginner, you want to orientate yourself on the different sections in the canvas. Firstly, we have the top panel, which you see in different menu item. There will be ribbons of icons that you can directly interact with to download your data, as well as inserting visual charts. And on both the left and right, you will see on the left a icon which shows what are the different views that you can change in your main canvas. So this is your main canvas where you will be working with, and on the left you can switch it to a report mode to include your chart, which is the default here, and data as well as model view. Once you do an import, let's just do one here. I will connect to my datasets from Kaggle, which is in Excel format. You have to select the tables and click on load. So once the view is being loaded, you can see the relationship of the two tables. There is two things I wanted to work on to enhance my field in order to create a report that I want to show you today. So here is the two table. Your primary field in both tables correctly named, which is order ID. It's found in both tables. There will be an auto linkage done by Power BI. So click on here. This dark line here will show the relationship. Okay. In the model view, on the right hand side, you will see a set of panels. Most right is your data pane. In this pane, you can actually see the detail of what are the fields that you can select from each table. And depending on which is the view that you're in, you will see different pane besides the data pane. Okay, so we'll go through it later when we reach the point. So now, to make this useful, I want to include within my list of all the table the geography hierarchy. How do I do that? Click Create Hierarchy and pull state into it. And then pull city into it. So now you have a hierarchy of country, state, and city. This is very useful when you want to do the relationship mapping in your map in your report view. Next, I wanted to create profit margin for my sales. So down here, just right click on new measures, and you will see the text field popping up. Okay, so paste the formula in the text field, and you will see that the profit margin new measure will be created. Right? You can actually see it here. It appears like that. Once this is finished working, we can straight away ready to go to build our report. So click on this report view, which is at your left panel. So in the main canvas, now you will see a switch on the right hand side. Besides the data panel, you will also see the main visualization panel. Click on this arrow here to expand it. So this is the charts that you will be able to drag and drop to build the visuals that you want. Firstly, I want to bring in some slicer to do filters on my report. So just click on this slicer, and one prominent filter that we need for a sales map would be regions, right? So let's do regions. So I drag regions into here and quickly go back to the visualization pane, click on format visuals, slicer setting, and I want to have a different look and feel to change it to tile drop down. For me, I'll prefer tile. I will need a few more slicer. I'll do one for order date. Yeah. So order date, and another one for product category. Drop it into the slicer, which is showing furniture, office, supply, and technology. Once we already have the slicer in, we want to bring in the chart. And the first chart that I would like to bring in is the map. Okay, just click on the map. Just position to where you want it to be, right? So we bring this up. Okay, collapse your filter because we do not need that now. Then next, in your map, you will need to identify the location which the map will use. And earlier on, I have built a hierarchy here. Drop this in. After which, you also need the legend. For legend, I will select the country, and it is important for you to bring in the latitude and longitude. This will help us locate where in the map your sales belongs to. Bubbles, you have to select what is the details that you want to see in each region. So for my case here, I would like to see the sales of different country. I'll put the sales here, and you can see immediately that it is corresponding to the sales data when you hover onto its different country. After we bring in our map, now we will bring in another chart. Let's work on the donut chart now. Just click on donut chart here, and we want to see the profit by year. So let's bring in profit into our value view, and for our legend it will be the date, right? So immediately you can see that it is responding to the data that we have actually pulled in to display what is the profit by year, and you can actually drill down by quarters and month. This is all thanks to the time intelligence auto dates that you find here. So click anywhere in the blank canvas. Now we will bring in a scatter plot. Click on the scatter plot, and for this scatter plot, okay, there's one thing I want you to note. Just pay attention when you actually drag the size of your chart. Notice the red dotted line. This is the behavior of Power BI to show you that you are actually reaching and touching another chart. So because you have a map above you, once you see this line, you need to stop, right? So it will be aligned properly. If you just end it anywhere else, then you will have a lot of white space, right? So I'll do it again so that you can see this. Yeah, you see the red dotted line is appearing. So do take note of that and release your mouse and drop the size precisely at this point. So in this scatter chart, I would like to look at the customer name, the profit margin for both the sales and profit. So in our X, we will have sales. In our Y, we have profit, right? So you can directly see how it actually corresponds to X and Y. And for value, we want to look at the customers. So in all the data points, we want to zoom in on each customer, what is their sales and profit. We are almost done. And I want to hover over to see our profit margin. So how do we do that? You notice there is this feature called the tooltip. And here, locate your measures for profit margin and drag it to tooltip. And now, when you hover over, you will see profit margin being displayed for each customer. You might want to also Google on courses on how you can actually do popping chart on how to make these dots more cluttered. Just the very basic fundamentals. You can play with the visual formatting here. You will see two sets, visuals and general, whereby you can actually make your chart looks more popping. Let me just drill down here. I want to have a meaningful name for the legends on X and Y. I do not want to see sum of sale. Instead, I want to see sales. I also do not want to see sum of profit. Instead, I want profit. So you can see that the X and Y name is being changed. And also for the title, I wanted a more meaningful title. Let's go to General, click on Title. I want it to be called Profit Margin by Customer, right? So this is actually what the chart is telling. And in visual, we can actually show like a dotted line or dashed line. And then we want to look at zoom, we can include a zoom slider. And we look at our markers, we can actually change the dot to square and control the size. If you control the size, it will not look as cluttered. So as you can see, if I move the slider zoom in on the data, change our colors of our dots. And how do we correlate this? Just click on this here. This tiny little FX icon will pop out the main screen. For me, I still want gradient. And I'm going to click on profit margin. And I want to set tree value yellow. And then I want a middle value. And I want this to be oranged. Click more colors. Drag it to oranged. And I also want the highest value, the maximum profit, to show in blue. So this is how I set the different color for my dots. So when I click OK, you can see that the dots actually change colors. In order to see the content clearly, due to space limitation, you might want to consider removing your legend. So this part I do not want to display. I just click off and you can see that visually your chart become bigger and more visible. And you can also enlarge the dots here by going to the shapes and adjusting the size. For the size multiplier, change it from -19 to 1. Immediately you can see your sizes changes. And now you can see the color differences much clearer. And we also want to show the borders. Yeah, so in the borders, we want to control remove match fill colors, and immediately you can see it is colored by default black. And when it is black, you can see here for every distinctive data point, right? So this is how you actually work with the Power BI in order to create your chart and make it more meaningful. I have a chart that is already done here. So you can see this is how the final product of how I slowly improve the visualizations. On my chart, the title is renamed in visible font, as well as the legend is taken away. And now I have also customized a zoom in feature. And when I click on zoom in, I can actually see the different data point more clearly. When I hover over, I can see it very clearly. You can also zoom this in to enlarge your points. Okay, look at different sections of your chart. If you want to zoom out again, you need to pay attention and do this default scaling again before you zoom out. And this is done by creating new measures with DAX syntax. I also have here the sales by country. Look at the legend here and how to actually control the colors of your different country in your bubbles and color. So down here, look at different regions like North. Go back to your values. When we click back on this map here, we click back on the map, just notice you need to go back to your map settings, bubbles and colors to control the different country. Alright, so just click into it and then customize your color, or you can pick any one from here. right, then it will actually correspond to the dot that you see here. You hover over detail of the sales, right? You can also drill down to go directly zoom in on the cities. I wanted to also show you this layout here for profit by year and month. You can control the slice on the different colors as by choosing January, what is the color you want to set. Also, please take note that you can go down to detail label to rename your label. So because I call it category as it is a bit small, but if you have a bigger chart, you can actually show category by percentage and can see that the percentage is shown. So this is how you actually navigate with the different display. So when I zoom back up, so let me just do this very quickly. And the last thing I want to talk about is if you are a developer, you want to take care all types of viewers, and those who are colorblind, you want to ensure that you do not have green and red being put together as a foreground or background. You don't mix them. And you have to pass the AA test for color contrast. For me, I would recommend that in one sheet, you do not show more than 3 charts, because based on best practices, for a bird's eye view, our brain does not respond well. It will actually look very cluttered. Now that we've come to the end of this video, I hope that you have gotten a good insight on the basic concept of how to use Power BI. And essentially, you should be able to navigate well to create a simple report. Thank you.